Three, two, one. Boom. Oh my God.
Election night in America, one of the most consequential elections in recent history.
Donald Trump has won the presidential election in Kentucky.
Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Oklahoma. Missouri will go to Donald Trump.
It's clear now that Donald Trump has picked up key support among Hispanic voters, despite all the things that he said.
Donald Trump will win the state of North Carolina.
That the state of Georgia will go to former President Donald Trump.
The evening was getting increasingly somber as people realized what this map is looking like.
CNN projects that Donald Trump will win the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Kamala Harris is not winning. So you won't hear from the Vice President tonight?
News Decision Desk can now officially project that Donald Trump will become the 47th President of the United States.
Do you really think that the Democratic Party is fighting for you? The overwhelming answer is
Bum, 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 bum.
no.
I love Shoe. He's so funny.
Well, well, well. What have we learned? Nothing, apparently. I regret to inform you, everything I predicted about the election in my last video came true, and more. Men did overwhelmingly turn out for Trump, especially young men. But I was wrong about one thing. Young men weren't the only ones who came out in droves for Trump. Nearly everyone did. The madman took everything. Every swing state, Pennsylvania, Georgia, my home state, New York, was closer to flipping red than Florida was to flipping blue. Turns out Dick Cheney as Brat wasn't the best message to win over voters. Dems did so bad it really had me thinking, damn, did we steal that election? So what happened here? How did it go so wrong? Is it too late for the Democratic Party, or can they turn this around? Will the Democrats learn from this, or will they double down and get worse? In this video, I'm going to go through all the excuses and the copes the Democrats and the broader left are coming up with to avoid accountability. Read some silly tweets, watch some silly news clips, and even give the Democratic Party some advice on how to win 2028. Don't worry, Republicans watching this. They won't listen. Maybe in 2050, under the barren Trump monarchy, someone might come to their senses, but not anytime soon. If you only watched or read most mainstream liberal news, it really seemed like Kamala had this in the bag, which is why you should try to get your news from a variety of different sources. Oh, that reminds me. Before we dive into this election dissection, let's give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, a sponsor I've been working with for over 4 years now, Ground News. Ground News is a website and an app that gives readers an easy and transparent way to read the news all across the political spectrum. Every story comes with a quick visual breakdown that helps you understand the full story and makes sure you're getting both sides. One of my favorite features of Ground News is the blind spot feature, which shows you what news stories have been covered by one side of the political spectrum and ignored by the other. For example, here is a story about how Bernie Sanders is open to working with Trump on capping credit card interests, and there's 23 sources on it, and 89% are right-wing. No left-wing sources have covered the story. And this story about how 2 women have told the ethics panel that Matt Gaetz paid them for sex, 31 sources, 61% of them left-wing. You can even see who owns these political outlets. Ground News also makes it really easy and fun to compare headlines to see how ownership or political bias can affect the framing of a story. For example, this story about how a man was arrested after allegedly a stabbing spree in Manhattan that left 2 dead and 1 injured. This left-wing outlet says, man arrested after alleged stabbing spree in Manhattan that left 2 dead, 1 injured. This right-wing outlet says, 2 dead, 1 critically injured in Manhattan as knife-wielding maniac launches unprovoked stabbing spree. I have been using Ground News since 2021 and I am just obsessed with this app. It is a great and easy way to stay informed, plus it really helps me see how both sides frame the same story so differently.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Best of of all, for Black Friday, I am offering 50% off their Vantage plan, which is the plan I use to access all their amazing features. This is their biggest discount of the year, so go to ground.news/shoe, use the QR code here on the screen, or use the link in the video description down below, and subscribe today for only $4.16 repeating per month. I personally think what they're doing is very important because it helps approach the news in a more balanced and transparent way, and I feel like we really need that nowadays. So thank you, Ground News, for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad.
I did not.
Right? And now, let's get back to this election dissection, shall we?
There's no point in saying good morning, because it certainly is not one.
From
Cheese and crackers, dude. Every 4 years is more dramatic than the last, chat. Like, honestly. It's crazy.
Blaming the American people to blaming Joe Rogan, the Democrats and the media are having a hard time coping with their loss, and I don't blame them. It was a pretty big loss. Embarrassing, quite frankly. Donald Trump overperformed in nearly every state, with basically every demographic, and the entire country seems to be—
Holy crap, man. That is actually crazy.
Shifting more red. Everyone was so sure dangerous, devious, dastardly Donald would never make his way back into the White House to steal democracy. And he did it. With democracy. Anyway, I got a lot of comments on my last video like, wait, you're left-wing and you hate the Democrats? Yeah, man, that's a pretty common thing. If you were shocked that I'm—
Yeah, Shoe's like really left-wing too. And you want to know what's funny? 30 years ago, that wouldn't surprise anyone. It's surprising that now in 2024, because nobody actually gives a shit about policy anymore. Everyone only cares about fucking identity politics and virtue signaling. So when you meet someone that does neither, they're like an anomaly, like a fucking, you know, like a ghost. They're like, ooh, I don't understand what you're doing. I don't get it. Wait, you don't participate in our team sports? Then they both hate you. She gets labeled as both.
Left-wing, maybe that's a sign you need to take a step back and evaluate some of the preconceived stereotypes you have of people. Not all of us are crazy blue-haired socialists, no. Some of us are crazy brown-haired socialists.
She's so hot.
But for those of you who are new here, hello, I am Shoe0nHead. If you ask the right wing, I am Stalin. If you ask the left wing, I am Hitler. Fiscally far—
That's what I just— literally what I just said. Exactly what I said 30 seconds ago.
or left, culturally centrist, socially retarded. But if you really must put me in a box, it's not that hard to pin me down. I'm a populist. Think Huey Long if he was a 5'3" Italian New Yorker woman who still did her hair and makeup like it was 2008. Put a pin in that Huey Long name, by the way. He's gonna come up later. I grew up in the 90s and the 2000s. My political awakening was jibjab.com. The first time I voted for Obama. I was ready for that hope and change. Instead, we got the crushing of Occupy Wall Street and more drone strikes. And from there, it only got worse. I voted for Bernie in the primaries in 2016, and I watched as the Democratic Party did everything in their power to destroy this man twice. So it is safe to say I am a little biased when it comes to the Democratic Party, but I don't think I've hated them more than I do right now. The truth is, my last video was way meaner and way harsher than the final product turned out to be. When I showed the video to my assistant, he basically had an intervention with me and he was like, listen, you need to soften this up a bit. It's a few days before the election. You went too hard. Well,
she had a worse version of the video, and not like worse isn't bad. I meant like harsher?
The election is over. And I'm sorry, River, but I'm going hard.
Oh my god.
You idiots. You morons. You imbeciles. Kamala Harris? Really? That's who you threw up there? The one who dropped out before Iowa? The one who got blown the f*** out by Tulsi Gabbard? Why didn't you hold a primary? Aren't you the f***ing saviors of democracy? Where the f*** was the democracy? Oh, big congratulations to Tim Walz on being the first white male DEI hire. It didn't f***ing work. The DNC completely neutered that f***ing guy, reduced him to this weird token white man. Hello, fellow men, I too play football. But hey, men weren't the only demographic you completely dropped the ball with. Trump made incredible gains with women, too. Oh, and all those never-Trumpers you tried to court, the people who like the old, respectable GOP? You know, the old, respectable GOP that led us into a pointless war that cost us trillions of dollars and millions of lives, but we're at least nice on Twitter. That GOP. Yeah, they didn't come out and vote for your ass either. So you got Liz Cheney to tag along for what? For f***ing what? You raised $1 billion and ended up $20 million in debt? Where the hell did all that money go? Maybe you should have blown it all on celebrity appearances that did nothing. Or maybe it was spending 6 figures on a single-use set for the Call Her Daddy podcast that didn't even hit 1 million views. I want to see a full audit of this campaign, because I wouldn't be surprised if this was all like a big money laundering scheme, because honestly, that makes more sense than this being a legitimate presidential campaign. Then, they had the audacity to beg their supporters for money after she lost. How about you? How about every DNC consultant should have this map sewn onto the inside of their eyelids? May they never have a peaceful wink of sleep for the rest of their miserable lives. So that is how I feel about the whole situation.
Chad, I think mommy's mad. I think she's very angry.
But what do Democrats and the media think? What do they think the Harris campaign did wrong? Why do they think Kamala lost?
I think Harris ran a really good campaign. If there's one person I do not blame for this loss, it is Vice President Harris.
This is gonna be a long fucking video.
The media this morning saying Dems need to have a reckoning. No, we don't. We can't be blamed because we expected Americans to be who they always claim they are. Democrats don't have a messaging problem. America has a racism problem. Kamala ran a flawless...
Here we go. Vote for me or you're racist. Vote for me or you're a misogynist. We hate all men, especially white men. You are literally all as bad as Hitler and a plague on society. We don't need or want you. Vote for us, by the way. God dang it.
Campaign in 100 days, and I refuse to let y'all gaslight me into believing anything other than that. She lost because she's a woman, and a black one at that.
I mean, this really was an historic, flawlessly run campaign.
Listen, I'm no political analyst, but losing seems like a pretty big flaw.
Truly, don't overthink it. It's because she's a woman, she's a black woman.
Don't overthink it. In fact, don't think about it at all.
And Kamala Harris lived up to our dreams. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. She ran a remarkable 107-day emergency campaign full of joy and hope.
Kamala Harris was the perfect candidate, and she ran a beautiful campaign of joy, empathy, and unity.
Joy and empathy and unity doesn't motivate people to go to the polls. No wonder Republicans had incredible turnout.
People care about their grocery bills, man. That's all they care about.
And so many Democrats stayed home. This isn't Steven's universe. You just can't, like, joy and empathy and unity your way out of not being able to afford food for your family.
CNN has a story titled, Where the Harris Campaign Went Wrong. Nope, I won't read it. Harris ran a great campaign. The story should be titled, Where the American People Went Wrong.
La la la, I can't hear you. La 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 la, I can't hear you. It's not me, it's you. La 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 la. The cope is...
It is honestly amazing to me that the people who are so deeply ingrained in politics, like the tweets here, right? The experts, the journalists, the talk show hosts, you are the people that are supposed to be the most knowledgeable about politics, yet you all make the exact same glaring mistake of trying to convince people and everyone else that they feel is wrong, instead of convincing them that your view and you're the guy is the one that's right. It's all just vote for me or you're racist and misogynist and wrong. You can't talk down to people and expect them to vote for you, especially when the grocery bills have doubled and tripled in the last 4 years. Like, you should be convincing people to join your side, not shame them into coming onto your side, man. Like, it's just...
It's unreal here. They don't even want to listen to criticism. They really think they did absolutely nothing wrong. They only see this as a Trump win and not a Democrat failure.
Kamala Harris was not a flawed candidate. America is a flawed country. This incredible
tweet here is from Shannon Watts, who is on the board of Emerge America, which is an organization that, quote, shows Democratic women how to run for office. Yeah, we're never getting a female president.
Oh.
Biden's been a phenomenal president. He's lived up to so many of the promises he's made. There's one promise left that he could fulfill, being a transitional figure. He could resign the presidency in the next 30 days, make Kamala Harris the president of the United States. Whoa. He would absolve her.
Wow. What the f*** is this Make-A-Wish president shit? Like she's a little kid who wants to play pretend. Oh, just let her for a few days. What? Please tell me. We're not—
Let them be a real, like, winner. Why do you need to give them, like, a consolation prize? Nobody wants that.
Gonna get the first female president out of pity. Well done, America.
Pity.
You
Exactly.
failed
That's
them
the word I was
both.
looking
The
for.
people cannot let politicians down. That's not how this works. As a politician, you are not owed anyone's vote. You have to earn it, and evidently she didn't earn it. We already went through this in 2016. Donald Trump beat both female candidates. Donald iron sealing Trump. It's not our fault the female candidates you're putting up are dogs. Give us some good female candidates and maybe people will vote for them. At this rate, the first female president is going to be a Republican. Mark my words, it's bound to happen. And
oh God.
If it doesn't happen, this was a joke. One of the groups that showed up overwhelmingly for Trump was Latinos. One of the major stories of the results is the significant surge in support for Trump among Latino voters. Trump nearly erased the Democratic advantage in this group, narrowing the gap from 33 points to just 8. Democrats gonna—
Holy crap. Oh my God. Oh no, chat. Like, I want you to know, just because I'm not political doesn't mean I don't see this shit on Twitter. Are we about to get into the whole deport anyone illegal that voted for Trump thing? Where, like, that dude was, like, calling ICE on his neighbors? Like, oh my God, man. I saw people saying that, like, just because of the whole election. This was so bad, man. Please, God.
Build the wall 50 times higher after that one. We have to have a very, very uncomfortable conversation about Latino—
Yeah, like this. Like, exactly like this. Not this exact tweet, but in the vein,
voters in this country. Me watching him deport the Latinos and the Arab Americans after they voted for him. And Cinco de Mayo.
To all,
oh my God.
all you Latinos that voted for Trump, I hope he mass deports you and your entire family, whether you—
Get me off this planet, man.
You were here legally or not. You gotta go.
I know for a fact that most Latinos for Trump have undocumented family members. So if you know of a Latino who voted
Yep, here we go again. Can't wait for the most horrible and fucked up thing to happen to this group of people because they didn't vote how I wanted them to. Very sane individual, not unhinged at all. Also, you're fucking insane if you think he has the power to deport literal American citizens. Like, hello? It doesn't matter how recently you got here. If you're a citizen, then you're a citizen. And guess what? You have to be an American citizen to vote. So no, nobody that voted, regardless of race or who they voted for, is getting deported. This is actual brain dead schizo talk. Nobody thinks like this.
For Trump,
except
I urge you to call this number and report said family members.
Donald Trump's strongest soldiers. Spiteful liberals.
A district that—
Vote for me, by the way. Or else I'll advocate for you to be deported. Yeah, that'll convince him next time, for sure.
That's 97% Latino, went 75 percentage points for Donald Trump. Why?
Misogyny.
It's on the border.
It's
the border
misogyny.
crisis is on their doorstep.
And
they were begging people to care about it for years. We need to take some less.
That's what that was.
Another demographic for people that overwhelmingly showed up to vote against Kamala were Muslims. In a Michigan-specific poll of 502 registered Muslim voters, Stein got 59% support, followed by Trump at 22%, and Harris with a tiny 14% of the vote. The results show significant backlash to the Biden administration's handling of Israel's brutal war in Gaza, which has killed at least 43,508 Palestinians, including more than 16,765 children, as well as how the Harris campaign chose to tackle the issue. So how exactly did they tackle that issue? Why, sending that old pervert freak Bill Clinton up to Michigan to talk down to Muslims about Palestine.
I understand why young
Palestinian and Arab Americans in Michigan or think too many people have died. I get that.
Bro.
Muslims really said, we hate you more than the guy that talked about a Muslim ban.
Oh my
Just a
God,
side note,
so
look at this fucking guy. It's like he has daily...
I can't, I'm sorry. A lot of people died. But... I'm sorry I'm laughing. This is just so funny to me.
Dose of adrenochrome in a week. Someone get this man a fresh child stat. Muslims, Latinos, who else are we gonna blame? Ah yes, women. Yes, Trump improved with young men, but he drew in young women too.
Wow, look at that. 52% of all women who look like me are f***ing stupid.
Despite making
It's literally all just identity politics at the end of the day, isn't it, Chant? At every turn, at every angle. Women and ankles, am I right? I don't understand how you can preach diversity and simultaneously, like, group up every single demographic on the planet by skin color, gender, religion, sexual orientation, and expect them to vote that way. They're just people, man. They're individuals. They have their own lives. They're gonna vote for whatever matters to them, not what you try to guilt them into based on their appearance and beliefs, bro. Well, and or beliefs.
Making abortion the number one issue in her campaign, despite Brat Summer, despite the white women for Harris Zoom calls, and most of all, despite the Taylor Swift endorsement, Harris only managed to get +8 with women. Despite it all, many women came out to support Trump, especially Gen Z women. In 2020, 30% of young women voted for Trump. In 2024, 40% of young women voted for Trump. In fact, so many women voted for him that women on TikTok started wearing blue bracelets to signal to other women that they were one of the good ones who didn't vote for Trump.
Is that not mental illness, or am I crazy? White women are making blue friendship bracelets to show they didn't vote for Trump. I think I'm going crazy. I'm living in a simulation.
To signal to other women that they were one of the good ones who didn't vote for Trump.
Swifties, I'm buying as many blue beads and blue hearts as I can, and I'm gonna make bracelets, so we know who we can trust.
Yeah. Anyway.
Bro, I've never cried in front of a camera, like, in my life, and you're crying over and saying Swifties. I just losing it.
Some young women in response to Trump's victory are starting to get into the 4B movement. A movement started in South Korea. Basically MGTOW for women. Women giving up on dating men, having sex with men, having babies, marriage, whatever.
Oh no, man. I saw this on Twitter. Is this gonna show that post, that Reddit post, I think, of the girl who, like, told her family she's joining the 4B movement because of Trump? And her dad and brother were like, that's great, at least you won't be a whore anymore. And she was like, oh, what? Oh my god, dude. Please show that one. Oh my god, dude.
We are taking coochie off the table indefinitely.
Cancel all future plans with men.
Oh my god.
4B is where it's at. Use their own stupid traditional views against them. Say that you don't want sex before marriage. Say that you are waiting for the right man. They will be seething because they are sexually dependent on women who they call sluts. See, this is the best angle. No sex before marriage. Give them what they voted for. So
don't conservative men want traditional women that don't have sex before marriage? Am I crazy? Isn't that like an attractive thing to a lot of men that are conservative? Yeah, I'm sure that'll show them. Darn.
Conservatives won the election and women are threatening to not sleep around. It kind of seems like the conservatives want a little more than just the election. I might do a whole video on the 4B movement. Tell me if you're interested in that. I don't know. Anyway, young men did come out and support Trump, and apparently for the reasons I and many others predicted. We asked young men why they voted for Donald Trump. Here's what they said. Nick Sumners, a 21-year-old cosmetic car repairman from Virginia, says he is pro-choice, but when he voted in the 2024 presidential election, he did so for Donald Trump. Despite his personal beliefs, he says that Trump talks about the American people in a way that resonates with him, without, in his opinion, faulting him for his gender and sexual orientation. I'm a straight white man, and I feel like we take the blame for a lot of things. Of course there are bad guys, he adds, insisting that he's not one of them just because he voted for Trump. But what appealed to him about Donald Trump was that his campaign was not coming after us. He was highlighting the American people, which we are. It doesn't matter what color you are, what you may identify as. Since I wasn't excluded, I resonated with it. When you tell a young white guy, hey, you're an oppressor, and because you're white, you have privileges that your black and Hispanic peers didn't have, and you're inherently at fault, or you're guilty for that, which is what a lot of the left wings or Democrats are saying. We're not racist, we're not misogynistic, we're just normal people, and we are friends with everyone. We're tired of hearing a lot of this BS from a lot on the far left. I feel—
What? You mean with identity politics, he talked to you like an American, and it wasn't about insert X race or X gender here, like an individual and not a statistic? Damn, crazy how that works. Talking to Americans and convincing them to vote for you instead of talking to the blacks, the whites, the gays, the men, the women, individually shaming them into like voting how you want and voting how their polls say they should. Like, it's so dystopian, is it not? It's so strange to me.
I feel like there's this cultural frustration that young men have that they're not allowed to be young men. I hope the male loneliness epidemic eats you MAGA scum alive. I hope you feel a hole in your soul and feel unloved until your dying day. I hope you rot in your deathbed wondering why women looked at you like you had rabies your whole life as your eyes closed for the last time. Unfortunately,
dude, it's literally the I hate you, I hope you die meme.
The all men suck branding just isn't good for getting men to ally with you. Oh no, it can't be! Is that the consequences of my own actions? Yes, the reasonable and rational men know you aren't talking about them, but maybe it's time to realize that most men aren't reasonable and rational. How do you speak to young men when they're literally Nazis? Why are Gen Z males the f***ing Hitler youth? How do we—
I'm sorry, Shoe. I'm gonna say this a lot in this video chat. Vote for me, by the way. Fucking 129,000 likes. Tweeted this on election day. Literally just the most chronically online, unhinged echo chamber of schizos.
How do we get young men to get on board with the Young Men Eat and Die movement? Hear me out. Maybe not calling them Hitler Youth? After the election, a YouTuber I am subscribed to uploaded a video called How the Right is Winning Young Men, and I was excited to see his take. But then it comes time to talk about men's issues, and this is how he did it.
But this is the part where I want to enter the male loneliness epidemic. I know, we're all tired of it.
The entire idea of the male loneliness epidemic is it's this idea that really centers men and men's feelings.
Why do they address it like it's not real? They just say, they use the word idea.
The premise is of quite a flawed premise to begin with.
I agree. I also, I have such mixed feelings about this. I do. Unpopular though it is on the left to like give grace to the male loneliness epidemic. I have mixed feelings about it. I'm picking my words carefully so the leftists don't murder me. Like, don't rake me over the coals for this. But I think that
you have to defend yourself.
I understand
like that?
As much as I can understand a heterosexual man.
Yeah, I think we found the answer to the video title. I have to pick my words carefully so my own movement doesn't attack me for caring about men's issues. You see the issue?
Yeah, it's massive. That's really sad to hear, in my opinion. That is just sad, dude. Like having to go, oh my god, I have to pick my words carefully, you guys. Don't rip me apart. I'm one of you guys.
If you can't talk about this without having to walk on eggshells in fear of your own allies ripping your head off, maybe that is—
They don't just rip your head off like a verbal lashing. They try to deplatform you, get you banned, and stop you from speaking entirely. And if they can't do that, they create Blue Sky and start a new echo chamber. Like, you're definitely setting yourself up to win the next election, by the way. Like, by creating another echo chamber where no dissenting opinion can be heard, definitely gonna pull a lot of new voters from that. Surely, right?
Is part of the reason men are moving right. Also, I feel like this is really important to say. I don't think all these men are moving right. I think just a lot of them hate the Democratic Party and feel alienated from the left. So what was the overwhelming takeaway from the Democrats and the left? To actually start listening to men? No, of course not. Instead, their solution once again seems to be, we need a liberal Joe Rogan.
Oh my god, man. You can't have a liberal Joe Rogan because you don't let people criticize you. And you know what's funny? Everybody says like Hassan is like the liberal Joe Rogan. And I know a lot of people hate Hassan and I don't like his takes. But even like Hassan will criticize the Democrats. Like, he shits everywhere. He shits on everyone, and he takes it really far. I just don't ever see that happening.
We need a liberal Joe Rogan, ASAP. We need a left-wing Rogan. Democrats are gonna keep losing until they have their own Joe Rogan, their own Elon Musk, until they create their own alternative to Fox News. People saying Harris should have done Joe Rogan are missing the point. That wouldn't have helped her. Liberals need to build their own Joe Rogan. Oh my god.
And like, think about it, like Joe Rogan brings on literally everybody onto his podcast to have discussions about like talking about anything while getting high or like smoking a cigar. Everybody on his podcast gets to talk. Meanwhile, these people are creating Blue Sky so they don't have to see tweets they don't fucking like. You can't have a liberal Joe Rogan because you'll cancel him for talking to people with opinions that don't align with your own. Like, cheese and crackers, man.
We need a liberal Joe Rogan. You had a liberal Joe Rogan.
Yeah!
His name was Joe Rogan.
Exactly!
But he was too edgy, too problematic, said too many no-no words, talked to too many no-no people about no-no topics. And in 2020, when Bernie Sanders went on his podcast and Joe endorsed him, the Democrat journalist class freaked the out.
I remember that, yeah!
Smeared him for weeks. The left can't have a Joe Rogan because everything that makes Joe Rogan, is not allowed on the left. Kamala Harris ditched Joe Rogan podcast interview over progressive backlash fears. So Joe Rogan was too problematic, but Liz Cheney was fine? Listen, you don't need a leftist Joe Rogan or liberal Joe Rogan. You just need leftists and liberals to go on Joe Rogan. And that means not giving a shit about being canceled by your own movement.
Look, you can have an argument with Rogan, agree with him, disagree with him, but what's the problem going on in those shows? I got vilified by some of the Democratic establishment because I went on Rogan's show. Now a lot of other people are doing just that.
Anyways, liberals should start doing podcasts and TikToks and whatever aimed at setting the youth straight. Ah yes, there's nothing the youth enjoy more than being set straight.
We don't have...
Youth is meant to rebel, just so we know. That's like actually like an inbuilt mechanism.
The equivalent of Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson
bad.
To move that man in a feminist direction. By the way, we should educate men that it's actually really great to live with a strong woman who makes money. It's actually easier. Life is easier.
Chat, would you give a shit if your girlfriend or like wife or whatever made more money than you? To the point where you don't even have to work? What do you mean we need to convince men that it's okay? I don't think any man has a problem with it if somebody's so weaponized against them and told them they're pussy. Or get called names. No, wouldn't care. Wishes she would. Yeah, exactly. That's a benefit. No, in fact, I hope she does. Damn, look at that chat go. They're like, nope, don't really care. Nope. But my male masculinity, that horror. Sure, I wouldn't hate. Yeah, exactly. Like, what are we actually talking about here, man?
We're gonna be under Republican rule for the next 100 years, aren't we? Trump's win leaves Democrats asking, where are our bro whisperers? We have to make entertaining, engaging content that men want to watch and care about. Then, over time, you pepper in more progressive views. So you want to start a normal podcast and then start sprinkling in propaganda? Should you even be saying this out loud? Dems need to see.
Oh my god, give me a second.
Seriously, put all their money into creating propaganda network to compete with the right's massive amount of propaganda. Democrats need their own.
I just took psychic damage in my brain. Oh my god. Oh, my brain. Holy fucking shit! This video is gonna make me say shit that gets me canceled. This is fucking insane. What do you mean you need more propaganda? Eminem, Megan Thee Stallion, who else was it? Like, the Swiftie, Taylor Swift, Oprah. Let's go.
Propaganda machine, and I'm not even joking a little bit. First of all, again, I don't think we need better propaganda is something you should be saying out loud. Second of all, Democrats already have that, and have had it for decades. It's called Hollywood. It's called every celebrity, every institution, every piece of media, from movies to video games. Every celebrity from Beyonce to Taylor Swift endorsed her. She had Cardi B at all her rallies. She got the fucking Avengers together.
Hi, you guys. Hi, Avengers.
Hey, Scarlett.
Wow, Trump is literally Thanos. By the way, with all these like journalists and people talking about how we need a liberal Andrew Tate, a liberal.
Oh my god. Apparently, do people just forget that American colleges clearly lean left? Like 80% of the legacy media leans left? Okay, hold on. I gotta think of an example. I'm gonna give an example. Asman said it best. When Elon bought Twitter, people started getting super aggressive and just eviscerating left-leaning people and ideas, sometimes maybe even going too far. And Asman brought up, I think it was 2-3 years ago, there wasn't a single social media website that wouldn't instantly ban you if you said anything, like even like a minute crumb of anything that went against their agenda. And people are making up for like lost time at this point, for those years that they were silenced for, and mainly during COVID. And he was right! Now tell me, how the fuck are you losing a propaganda war when you literally held all the cards in your hands for fucking years? You had the power to literally silence people on social media under the guise of misinformation, and somehow you need more propaganda? You're just delusional, man. Like, you need some meds, man. Just Go take your meds. Settle down. Simmer down.
Joe Rogan. Yeah, be prepared to see some of the most forced, overproduced, astroturfed streamers and YouTubers to pop up overnight and subtly or not so subtly start shilling for the Democratic Party. You're gonna start seeing funded DNC plants all over YouTube, Twitch, TikTok.
Do you think it would be obvious? Probably. I don't know. Not convinced.
I really do think the answer to all of this is more podcasts. All the funding in the world won't buy you an audience. You could have $1 million set and the best sound and video equipment ever, but it will not buy you a large and dedicated audience. I've been using a Mac laptop webcam and a shitty snowball mic for over 10 years, and you idiots keep coming back for some reason. And
I have the same one. Wait, I have the blue one, actually. She's the gray one. I feel like you have to normalize talking to people with opposing viewpoints. I've talked about this before, about how, like, I watched this presidential debate on, like, YouTube that was from the 1970s, and it was all super respectful, and everyone was complimenting each other, and they were like, they were just being super nice, and they may have different ideas on how to get there, but we share they would say, but we share the goal of improving America and like whatnot. if you're cultivating an audience by demonizing the other side of the political aisle, you're going to have a hard time bringing new people, right? Because the thought process becomes, well, if this guy is in this political party, it's evil. But he says one thing I agree with, then that makes me evil. And if I say I agree with it, I'll be ostracized by my own team, like they showed in like right here with that man with the podcast and the woman. Like, just put your pitchfork down and have a calm conversation with people. Treat them like individuals and not like Hitler. And things will get better. It's that easy. I know, it's crazy. I probably sound like I'm insane.
Listen, it's 2024. Y'all have a camera and a microphone. Be the liberal Joe Rogan you want to see in the world. But the thing is, if people can hear your opinions when they turn on the TV, they're not gonna watch your shit. People tune into alt media to hear alt opinions. Even the most popular leftist streamers, like Hassan, for example, spend a lot of time criticizing the Democratic Party.
Yeah,
so it's gonna be hard to build some kind of like Democrat shill Joe Rogan. But I can't wait to see you try. After the election, one of the only politicians I've seen who is actively trying to understand why people voted the way that they did is AOC. When I met her, I whispered into her ear, "Take the pronouns out of your bio." And she did. My influence. Anyway.
Oh my god, no way. She's trolling, right?
After the election, AOC found out that a ton of people voted for her down ballot, but also voted for Trump for president on the same ticket. Curious, she took to her Instagram to ask people why they did that. And these were some of their answers. I feel like Trump and you are both real. It's real simple. Trump and you care for the working class. But also you signified change. Trump signified change. I've said lately, Trump sounds more like you. Loved ones say you're—
Whoa! See, that's the other thing. People just hate politicians regardless of political affiliation. Like, being viewed as relatable and not as a career politician is a super big deal. It's kind of like streamers. Like, the more relatable you are, the more liked you are. It's like both political parties are a football team, but both football teams are still under the NFL. So no matter who you vote for, you're gonna get the same poison. It's just gonna be a different color. Yeah.
Both straightforward and challenging corruption and broken government, because it's different than what has been the last 4 years. Something had to go. I feel that you both are outsiders compared to the rest of DC and less establishment. Voted Trump, but I like you and Bernie. I don't trust either party establishment politicians. The replies, of course, were full of people like, "These idiots, these morons, these fools." Most depressing shit I've ever seen. These people sound dumb as hell. Such staggering ignorance and stupidity. The median voter. I hate the median voter. I want to destroy the median voter. Why?
Are we okay, man?
Why is the median voter this stupid? I hate the median voter. How could this be real? Americans really are the dumbest gentlemen on earth. This is giving me a headache. I don't understand the median voter. Listen, it's really not that hard to understand. It's populism, honey. It's why when I went to January 6th and told a bunch of boomers I was a Bernie supporter, a ton of them reacted like this.
I think he's one of the few honest people yeah, I think he's honest. He beat Hillary Clinton. And he would have beat Joe Biden, too.
People hate empty suits that sound like they're constantly reading from a script. They want someone who tells it like it is.
Yeah, the relatability. It matters, man.
Someone who fights for the everyman, or at least sounds like they do.
How are you feeling about Trump's upcoming presidency, Trump 2?
I voted for him.
Oh, you like AOC?
Yeah.
Did you vote for her?
Yeah. Remember one thing about why people voted for Trump. They want change.
The average American voter despises the establishment and will vote for anyone who promises to destroy it. And the fact that none of you understand this is a big reason why you lost and will continue to lose until you do understand it. Capiche? The beatings will continue until the populism improves.
The swamp
How could
or
people
whatever.
have voted for this felon? How could they vote for Trump, especially after January 6th, where he led a bunch of his supporters to destroy that beautiful, shining beacon of hope?
Yeah, I don't know about beautiful.
First of all, you have to understand that that's not a shining beacon of hope to most people. That is a dirty, disgusting brothel that sold out the future of their children and will probably send them into the next world war. After all the indictments, the mugshots, the committees, the documentaries, people clearly don't care about January 6th. And that might scare some people, but The truth is, a politician that promises safety and affordable food can do 100 January 6s. It's kind of like FDR said.
Asmund says this and he gets a lot of shit. Not like regarding this exactly, but with video game devs and, Blizzard, they don't care.
Democracy has disappeared in several other great nations, not because the people of those nations dislike democracy, but because they had grown tired of unemployment and insecurity, of seeing their children hungry while they sat helpless in the face of government confusion and government weakness through lack of leadership. Finally, in desperation, they chose to sacrifice liberty in hope of getting something to eat.
Speaking of FDR, let's
like the pyramid of needs, right? Like nobody cares about like your political party if they're starving or have to work 3 jobs to get through it. Like it's really that simple.
Let's talk a little bit about the guy that FDR stole a bunch of his ideas from, shall we? Someone who the modern Democratic Party should probably try and learn from. That's right, I finally found an excuse to talk about my favorite politician. The man, the myth, the legend, the kingfish himself, Huey Long. Huey Long was the 40th governor of Louisiana from 1928 to 1932.
Wow.
He was a populist member of the Democratic Party and rose to national prominence during the Great Depression. He took on big oil and Wall Street and drastically helped lift Louisiana out of poverty. Long had many...
She dressed up as a flapper! Whatever it's called. It's flappers, right? Flapper? Look at her! She looks so silly. Kinda cute though.
Supporters and haters, and to this day is celebrated as a populist champion of the people, and at the same time, denounced as a fascist demagogue. To give you a better idea of who Huey was, here are some quotes from the man himself. Corrupted by wealth and power, your government is like a restaurant with only one dish. They've got a set of Republican waiters on one side and a set of Democratic waiters on the other. But no matter which set of waiters brings you the dish, the legislative grub is all prepared in the same Wall Street kitchen. The only difference I ever found between the Democratic
Base, if he were alive today, they'd find him dead with 2 bullets in the back of the head with a loving family and no issues and call it a suicide. I'm sorry, was that too dark? Oh shit.
Leadership and the Republican leadership is that one of them is skinning you from the ankle up and the other from the ear down.
But Huey Long wasn't some enlightened centrist, no. The man firmly had a side, and that side was the people. I'm for the poor man, all poor men, black and white. They all gotta have a chance. They gotta have a home, a job, a decent education for their children. Every man a king. That's my slogan.
Dude, that's beautiful. Every man a king, black or white. And, chat, you know what's crazy? In the 1930s, they still had segregation. He was for the people. Damn, dude.
When asked if he cared about the bad press he got, Huey replied, "All I care about is what the boys at the forks of the creek think of me." And when Big Oil threatened to leave Louisiana, he said, "If they gotta leave, they can go to hell and stay there."
Beast!
They don't make politicians like this anymore. Politicians used to be like mob bosses. Now they go on Call Her Daddy podcasts. Sad. Huey had many powerful enemies, and because of this, he was assassinated in 1935.
I didn't pre-watch this chat. I didn't. It's pattern recognition! Fucking Lois!
His last words were allegedly, "God, don't let me die. I have so much to do." There's a lot of talk online right now about how we need a Joe Rogan for the left and Andrew Tate for the left, but there's also talk about how we need a Donald Trump for the left, and well, Huey Long was exactly that. And to be completely honest, I don't think you people could handle a Donald Trump for the left. You couldn't even handle Bernie Sanders. You called him a sexist and a racist and did everything in your power to crush him and keep—
Yeah, Bernie was super soft too. Like, no, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, like, just... It's just, like, really soft. Probably why they bullied him.
Unlike Bernie, Huey Long wouldn't just lay down and take it. Huey Long would scare the shit out of the modern Democratic Party. But if there's anyone they need to take a lesson from, it's him. Alright, time to get out of this costume. feel like an old whore. It should come as no great surprise that the Democratic Party, which has abandoned working class people, would find that the working class had abandoned them. Bernie Sanders said in a statement about the results of Tuesday's election, while the Democratic leadership defends the status quo, the American people are angry and want change, and they're right. Will the big money interest and well-paid consultants who control the Democratic Party learn any real lessons from this disastrous campaign? Will they understand the pain and political alienation that tens of millions of Americans are experiencing? Do they have any ideas as to how we can take on the increasingly powerful oligarchy, which has so much economic power? Probably not. All the groups that Sanders originally courted, young people, Latinos, the working class, are gone. And I don't know if they're coming back. Maybe this is a one-time thing, maybe it's just because of Trump or inflation, or maybe the meme is coming true. Maybe Republicans are the new party of the working class. Democrats—
Damn, they flipped? You think so?
Working class exodus sets off reckoning within party. Democrats, who have long prided themselves as the party for the little guy, instead strengthened their emerging base of financially secure college graduates this election, while a growing number of blue-collar voters embraced Trump and Republicans. Especially alarming for Democrats this election, the exodus of working-class voters from the Democratic Party included not just white voters, but helped Trump make gains with Latino and black men. This realignment crystallized a political reality that is tough for Democrats to swallow. With blue-collar voters flocking away from their party over multiple election cycles, Democrats' refashioned base is becoming more upper-class, urban, suburban, and coastal. It's a narrowed coalition that does not bode well for future elections. To put things into perspective, the Trump coalition is closer to the Obama coalition than the Harris—
Holy shit! Holy crap, what? Oh my god, that's actually insane.
First one is. That is crazy. That is wild. That is what we call a potential party switch. And I don't really care about how many leftists or Democrats cope about this. We have better union policies. We have better wages policy. Yeah, that might be—
No, nobody cares about policy anymore. I already said that earlier. It's just browbeating team sports. Like, just go, if we cared about policy, we'd be having respectful conversations, like, you know, back in the day. But the average American political debate now is who's got like the sickest burn or gotcha moment, man.
Be true, and I agree, but we don't get to decide who the party of the working class is. The working class does. And if exit polls are anything to go by, basic left-wing economic policy is still incredibly popular. People just hate the Democratic Party. White men without college degrees are going to ruin this country. First of all, white men without college degrees built this country.
Exactly.
Second of all, this is apparently a real Democratic Party strategist saying this. You want to know how to win 2028? Step 1. Stop listening to freaks like this. The election, if having a degree was a requirement to vote. And this is what the election would look like if everyone was allowed to vote. Oh wait. That's this election. I too hate democracy.
And I think Bernie Sanders is wrong. I think the more relevant question actually is what is wrong with America?
Democrats have a smug problem. The day after the election, an NBC News chart circulated on Instagram that highlighting exit poll data showing that the more education you had, the more likely you would vote for Vice President Kamala Harris over President-elect Donald Trump. Some liberals used the occasion to look down upon the icky dummies who were too stupid to know they shouldn't vote for Trump. Yet Trump's victory was both definitive and diverse. He won broad swaths of the electorate, making significant gains in New York and California, and winning over larger percentages of Latino voters and young voters than in 2020.
Insane.
He also won a majority of first-time voters. Large factions of the left condescendingly believe that dumb people are the reason Trump won in 2016 and won again in 2024. And that patronizing, visceral vibe is obvious. It's a massive turnoff to many other voters. It is a mountain smug Democrats have to overcome if they want to reconnect with voters. Once, the coastal liberal establishment had an air of open-mindedness. But now, these elites have evolved into the provincial, narrow-minded scolds they once critiqued. All their education has narrowed their worldview. Their credentialism has built themselves a bubble in which to hide from reality. The contempt many liberals and some leftists have for the working class has never been more on display than it is right now. Even coming from some leftist YouTubers I watch that I know better and spend a lot of their time trying to bring people to the left. Your college degree does not make you any smarter than a working class person without a college degree. And more importantly, don't talk down to a vast majority of the population, because
Chat, how many times have I said college is a scam? If you don't want to be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer, go to if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or engineer, go to college. If you don't, stay the fuck away from it. It's a money draining like pit of greed. It's vile. College is not there to help you. They are not there to improve your life or help you reach your goals. Every single college, at least in the US, is like, it's like McDonald's. Yeah, it's the same as McDonald's. They want your wallet. They don't care how much life-crippling debt they put you in. It's that simple.
Despite how badly you want to believe it, they are not stupid. They are the people who grow your food, build your houses, pave your roads, fix the plumbing in your luxury apartments. And guess what? There are more of them than there are of you. So maybe you people should start listening to them instead of wagging your finger in their faces as if disagreeing with you is some moral failing, because it's not.
Right.
These people aren't all racists and Nazis or whatever. They are normal people. They are the proletariat. They're who you should be fighting for. And they don't believe you are fighting for them. More importantly, there is a difference between being educated and being smart. IQ isn't just about how many books you read or how many words you know. A lot of it is about pattern recognition, and boy did I recognize some patterns here.
Yeah, no joke.
Maybe you guys should have listened to the bimbo with populist brain rot, because she seemed to be right about a lot of this. If the Democratic
and she's hot
Party wants to win another election, they need to start understanding the importance of populism. Drop the divisive identity politics and focus on the bread and butter issues, or you are doomed. Become the party of Huey Long again, or you are doomed. But you know what? Maybe you're not doomed. Because if Trump fails to deliver on his promises, or we get like George Bush 3, it's totally possible that the populism vacuum will be open again. Will the Democrats take advantage of this and actually put up a good candidate? No. They're gonna put up like Pete Buttigieg or Gavin Newsom, and the populism vacuum will be filled by people like my Twitter mutual and soon to be Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance.
Oh my god, yeah, like a couple of videos ago, she said she was Twitter mutuals with him.
That is still so weird. What do I do with this power? Hey,
funny,
JD,
dude.
Best buddy, I have an idea. It's called Patriot Care, and it's healthcare, but our tax dollars go to it instead of bombs. Doesn't that sound cool? If you can't beat him, join him. The fact is, this election was a complete rejection of the liberal ideology.
She actually sent it.
Or it was just because of inflation and people want to afford eggs again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was probably that. It just
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of my chat complains about that.
It sucks to see the party you voted for your whole life, the party you grew up with, just get worse and worse over time. After this, the Democrats are gonna move right in the dumbest ways. They're gonna become like the new neocons, but gay. And I have no idea how a second Trump term is gonna go. I hope it goes well. I don't know. Congrats to RFK, I guess. I'll see you guys in the Adderall labor camps. Otherwise known as the concentration.
You'll send people taking Adderall. What?
Camps.
Uh-oh.
Get it? Okay. Anyway, so that is enough of my yapping. Now I want to hear you yap. Why do you think Trump won? And what could the Democrats do to win 2028? Anyway, if you liked this video, please consider subscribing. Also, if you can, donate to me on Patreon, or you could do a little tip with the little tip jar down below somewhere. It helps the channel a lot, and I appreciate it so much. And I will see you very soon with a new video that is very, very different than this one. Some of you might like it. I know a certain community will, but that is it for now.
No! No! She's gonna talk about VTubers! No! I think she's talking about VTubers!
So,
a certain community. Oh god. Oh my god. I'm gonna have a heart attack. I'm gonna shit my pants. Imagine she takes a big fat dump all over me. It's like, this dumb bitch, stop fucking reacting to my shit. Fucking kill yourself. I'm kidding. Oh. What I've done, I miss my nail. Chat, check her out. She's so funny. Oh my god, funny woman. Hey, cat! Psh, get away from my fucking bat kitty. Sorry. Bad music? Shut the fuck up. You know what? You're gonna fucking time now. Shut the fuck up. Bad music. Don't ever say Linkin Park is bad music. You might not like it, but it's funny. It's a good meme. That was hilarious. Chat, go give her a song, go give her a follow, and if you didn't like it, well, that's not my fucking problem. You know what? If I become president, I'm gonna make concentration camps and you gotta listen to Linkin Park on repeat.